Welcome to the next episode, everybody. Take a look. I know it doesn't look like it, but in the scheme of things, we have cleaned a lot out of this thing here. Now, in general, one of the first things that you're going to see here is a lot less wires, right? We've cleaned up a lot of the wires. Look over here on this side. Remember all that? We've since gotten rid of it. I think it was like a relay, and there was some weird collection of terminals and all that stuff. You can see our new wire I've got. I'm doing some testing. That's why you got those alligator clamps hooked up. I wanted to test the voltage of the batteries, and then I've got new wire that I'm running for the sending unit for the fuel tank. Showed that a little bit, and then I believe we also have another wire coming across, and I forgot what that was for. But anyway, we're running some new wires. I think I said it before, we're gonna need a new we're gonna need to put new wires for the sending unit. That's pretty easy to do. And let's see, what else do we got here? We talked about the fuel pump already. Let me show you what I've got going on with the electrical. Take a look here. I feel like I made some pretty good progress here. All right, so first and foremost, take a look at that. Depth finder. It comes on as soon as the key is on. So I think there's some like inserts that I can put on that, and I'll get to that later. You can see I've attached the horn. Take a look. I'm really proud of this, you all. So check this out. All right, got a little horn. Let me try it again. Probably need to hold it down, but it's kind of loud, so I'm trying not to hurt my ears. All right, we got this little, it looks like a USB 3.0 switch. Looks like we need to put a battery charger on it, but that's kind of neat. I'm not sure that I'll keep this, but you know, if you bring in a USB charger on the boat, it gives you opportunity to charge it up. There's also another one right here, which I thought was kind of neat. And you just flip this switch like that. Oh, so this one says 12.6 volts. So, but it's USB 3.0 as well. Kind of neat. It's got the waterproof cover on it. And I double checked, all the power comes through this main breaker, and then we've got individual breakers here, and I've got labels to go up here. So this one is horn. Obviously you heard we've wired that up, and I did the wiring underneath for that. And then you can see our gauges. Now the inputs, like we're still working on this, right? Or sorry, the miles per hour one, because that's we'll talk about that. I've got a whole video on how to set that up. And then I showed you a little bit ago, we need to still do the inputs for the trim. Temperature should be good. Fuel, we need to run the wires for that. And then the voltage is, this one's pretty easy to pull that as well. But is this really that important? I mean, we've got other ways to check voltage anyway, but we still want it to work, right? Because it's going to come off. This wire comes right off of the distributor, or sorry, I don't know why I said distributor, alternator, and then oil pressure. We showed that a little bit on when we were doing the fuel pump. It's that little wire that sits right next to it. So this one's really easy to trace. Take a look here. I hope this works. We've got the thing on here. Let's hit this button. And you can see, so at nighttime, the lights come on. The only one that isn't wired up yet, and I double checked, I guess I missed a wire, but this one is not wired up yet, but we'll get to that. But that's pretty neat, right? I mean, we've got a horn working, and then we've got nighttime lights. I've got some other options as well, watch, you can see. So there's power to this pretty simple panel. We just need to figure out what's gonna go where. I think this light will do the gauge cluster. We don't really have, I mean, there is remnants of a radio. This one didn't have a head unit. It just had that, and I took some wires and I tried to actually turn it on, and it does turn on, but Bluetooth doesn't work, which means it's probably waterlogged. But we've got a little bit more work to do, but I feel pretty good about the gauges. I'll take a look here. So it's kind of bouncing a little bit. All Not really sure why it's doing that, but anyway. Oh, and the, take a look here. Yes. So we can move the, I think we talked about that earlier, how this wasn't working. Well, it's working now, so that's awesome. So we're moving right along here. Let me show you something else that we need to consider as well. I think we talked about, if you saw my other video, about the oil change that we did on the Volvo Penta. Talked to AMSOIL, right? And they have these really awesome technical folks over there. And I was letting them know about this new motor that's here, and it's never been started. Well, they asked me a little bit about what oil's in there right now, and I let them know it's, from what I understand, I believe it's just regular 10W30 with a zinc additive to it. You can see it's almost completely translucent on the stick. And they told me, I said, your best bet is to go with break-in oil. It's the 30 weight. I looked it up in the manual, right? And that's actually what it recommends, 30 weight oil. This is high in zinc, so it's perfect for running these brand new motors to, you know, basically get everything seated right, whether it's rings or different pieces of the internals of the motor. You want to make sure everything is broken in correctly, and that's where this oil comes into play. So what I'm going to do, even though the oil is quote unquote new, we are going to recycle it, so it's not just going to go to waste, and we are going to replace it with AMSOIL break-in oil. I'm super excited. I'm also going to probably take a look at this filter. It's one of these no-name brand filters. Probably going to get in there and remove that as well. I have a Wix filter that came from AMSOIL as well, and we'll probably install that. But yeah, I need to, you can see how the wires are just kind of hanging across here, and that's no good. So we need to fix that. And like I said, we need to run those two wires to the fuel sender gauge. And you can see here we've got a blower. Oh, that's what that other wire is for. It's for the blower. So I need to mount it. I'm really cautious about putting screws into this transom. I really don't like doing that. The other thing too, you can see my tilt trim pump. I have noticed that it likes to fall. I have a video of the tilt trim cylinders and how to rebuild those, how to rebuild the pumps, and checking all the wires and, the hoses and all that for leaks. And this one, for some reason, the cylinders or rams like to fall after about 24 hours. So we need to figure out what's going on there. And obviously we need to get that blower to be compliant. So anyway, we got a few things we're gonna do, mostly just all electrical, and then we can get rid of these. I'm also installing a circuit breaker back here with a fuse to support these wires to make them more compliant, because as it is right now, they're kind of just hot wired. We're not going to keep it like that, you know, when we run the boat, but just for testing purposes, it's not a problem. We've got these other wires here, and I'm not exactly sure what they are or what they're used for. The only problem, and this is something I would caution you all about too, is when you have these old wires in here, they've kind of lived on the level of the floor, so as you wash it and stuff, the water gets in there and it could have damaged it as well. So I'm kind of cautious about using, I mean, look at that, look at all that stuff that comes out. So I bundled the wire here, and it's kind of faded. I don't know that I'm going to use this. That's kind of why I went with going with the aftermarket wire there, right? Just to make sure things like my fuel is, you know, that's accurate. And then same thing here. We want to make sure safety's in play, right? So we want to make sure our blowers are working. So anyway, you get my drift. And then I think we talked about this guy here. It does shift. I did check it. It goes into forward and reverse. I mean, obviously not with the motor on, but we will test that as soon as we get to that piece. One thing that's kind of discouraging, because this thing, I looked over there, it does have a new starter. Check this out. This part I'm not too happy about. Ready? Take a listen. So the starter's clicking, but it's not turning over. So what I'm likely gonna do is I'm going to take and try to manually apply power, right, to the starter and see if I can get it to turn over. And then if that's the case, it's gonna be something with this guy here, the solenoid. You know, it could have gone bad, or, you know, any of these wires in here could have gone bad. So we'll probably run a lead from the battery directly to one of these starter terminals and see if we can get it to kick over. So we'll probably do that on the next video. We've kind of gone over a lot here in this specific video, but special shout out to AMSOIL and their technical team for recommending this break-in oil. I mean, can you imagine, right? You got this high performance, brand new motor, so to speak, right? Never been started, and you run the wrong oil in it and you damage it right out of the gate. It would have been a super sad moment. So anyway, super happy. I got to talk with AMSOIL, and definitely they sponsored this video for sure. We're gonna go ahead and replace the old oil that's in here with the break-in oil, and we'll move on to getting more of the wiring done. So as always, hit that subscribe button. I hope you liked the video. Smash that like button if you thought it was pretty helpful, and we'll catch you on the next episode. I know we're pumping out a lot more videos these days, and I definitely like your comments. So if you got something you want to make a comment about, hey, put it in the comments field. I love reading it. I'll oftentimes reply back as soon as I can. So we'll catch you on the next episode, everybody. Take it easy.